The moon's gentle cycle. The world held its breath, a quiet pause between the long days of summer and the crisp embrace of autumn. Kazumi felt it in the air, a subtle shift, a whisper of change. This was the season of anticipation, when the moon began its slow, deliberate climb to its most perfect, luminous self. This was the first stage of the cycle, the gathering of light. The Mid-Autumn Festival, or Tet Trung Thu, is always celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th month of the lunar calendar, a time when the moon is at its fullest and brightest. It reminded her that great beauty often begins with a quiet, patient preparation. The moon does not fight. It does not attack. It does not worry. It does not try to be. It just is, and that is the lesson. Kazumi began her preparations, a ritual passed down through generations. She learned that the festival's origins are steeped in legend, most famously the tale of the archer Ho Yi and his wife, Chang-yi, who ascended to the moon after consuming an elixir of immortality. This was a time to honor history and the stories that bind us, a practice that reminds us to be grateful for the legacies we inherit. A fun fact she loved to share. The festival is also known as the Children's Festival in Vietnam, a time for children to carry lanterns and parade through the streets. We are not makers of history. We are made by history. The festival's heart is the mooncake, a small, dense pastry filled with sweet paste and often a salted egg yolk. Each ingredient and shape holds deep symbolism. The round shape represents reunion and completeness, the yolk, the full moon itself. Making them was a meditative act for Kazumi, a way to connect with the past and the simple joy of creation. She reflected on how the intricate patterns on the wooden molds, each with its own meaning, taught her that even small things can hold great meaning. The creative adult is the child who survived. As the full moon reached its zenith, a perfect, luminous pearl in the velvet sky, the second stage began, the gathering. Families and friends came together, sharing food and stories under the moonlight. The air was filled with the sweet scent of mooncakes and the gentle glow of lanterns. This was a moment of true togetherness, a time to celebrate the harvest of love and connection. Kazumi felt a deep sense of gratitude for the people in her life, a feeling as rich as the pomelos and taro they shared. The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it. The lanterns, too, held a special place. They weren't just for light, they were for hope. In some traditions, they were released into the sky, carrying wishes and dreams upward. They were a reminder that even in the darkest night, there is always a source of light to guide us. This was a time to let go of what no longer served us, and to send our hopes soaring. Kazumi held a beautiful lantern shaped like a rabbit, a nod to the jade rabbit legend, and felt a quiet, hopeful energy. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. The next day, as the moon began its slow wane, Kazumi entered the third stage, reflection. She savored the leftover mooncakes with a cup of tea, thinking about the past year. She considered her own harvests, the friendships she had nurtured, the lessons she had learned, the challenges she had overcome. This was a time for gratitude, for appreciating the journey as much as the destination. She realized that the quiet of the waning moon was just as important as the fullness of the festival. Gratitude is the memory of the heart. She reflected on the festival's deeper meaning. It was a reminder that life, like the moon, has its cycles. There are times of fullness and celebration, and times of quiet withdrawal and rest. Both are necessary. The moon's synodic period, the time it takes to return to the same phase, is about 29.5 days, a consistent rhythm that mirrors our own lives. The festival wasn't just about one night, it was about the entire journey, from anticipation to reflection. It was a lesson in embracing every phase. The only constant in life is change. The festival's end was not a goodbye, but a promise. The final stage, the promise of return. The moon would continue its journey, and so would Kazumi. She knew that the quiet period of the waning moon was a time for rest and renewal, a chance to gather energy for the next cycle. It was a beautiful, cyclical rhythm of life. The end of the festival marked a return to the rhythm of daily life, but with a renewed sense of purpose. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Kazumi closed her eyes and felt the cool autumn air on her skin. She carried the warmth of the festival in her heart, a quiet glow that would last until the next year. She was ready for the next phase, the next harvest, the next gathering. The moon's gentle cycle had taught her that every ending is simply a new beginning, waiting to unfold. She felt a positive retrospective on the festival's impact, a sense of peace and hope for the future. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And so, the world continued its quiet breath, waiting for the moon to complete its journey, ready to begin again. The cycle of the Mid-Autumn Festival was a beautiful reminder that life, in all its phases, is a continuous dance of light and shadow, of gathering and letting go, of celebration and reflection. It was a cycle of hope. The moon, a constant in the night sky, is a symbol of our own wholeness, no matter what phase we are in. The moon is a reminder that no matter what phase you're in, you're still whole.